Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi. We're all here on a Sunday morning.
It's a fine, fine thing.
Yeah, how was your birthday virtual party, Dia?
Oh, it was so fun. It was great. It
Oh,
was great. Everyone made me laugh. I made them laugh.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What else are you going to do? I
Right.
ate some donuts and some gluten-free cake pops. You know? I don't even know if I had dinner, really. And I'm not a big sugar person, so that was kind of fun for me.
Yeah.
And, yeah, no, it was cute. And I'm planning a big 60th in 2 years. I've been planning it for a while.
Yeah.
In Paris for a month.
Oh, wow.
That means in my head at this point, not in my bank account, but my fantasy is I get an Airbnb for 2-bedroom for a month. People can come just for a little bit and then they have to go, including my husband, and which he was very offended by. I'm like, sorry. And yeah, I haven't been to Paris in a long time, so I just want to walk and look at museums. So hopefully in 2 years, that'll happen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, put the intent out there.
Yeah, every penny's in my Paris jar. Literally, I have a Paris jar.
Oh, well, there you go.
My
We're
intention.
going to talk a little about wealth today. So this is going to get you on your way.
Excellent. How's everybody else?
Good.
Slept well, happy?
Oh my, I slept way better last night than the previous night.
Nice. I did too. I think I was asleep by 9 p.m.
Morning, everyone. I've got my screen off just because I'm jumping on my peanut butter toast here.
Okay.
Oh, we won't mind.
And then when you get on though, you should introduce your pets. You didn't introduce that pretty kitty and the beautiful black dog?
I'll bring them in today. They are beautiful, both of them.
They are. Have our animals meet each other.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll introduce them to the article.
Marlene, did you send the sheets for this morning?
I did.
The sheets and the
Did anyone
replay?
else? Oh my gosh, you know what? They're sitting here waiting for me to hit the send button. Oh.
Get them either.
I just sent it. Okay. It was open. I guess I didn't hit the send button. Oh, sorry. Oh. Okay.
Don't worry. Okay, I'll go grab them.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, you just got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Ah, I'm all proud of myself. It's all there. and then nothing. Oh, no.
Okay. In the end, we got them, so.
Yeah, there you are. All right. Well, y'all got here, and so all right. So is anybody feeling anything from yesterday? Maybe just a little tired because of the we worked in the cells, and a lot of times that will make you drowsy.
I'm having major detox.
Are you?
So achy and dehydrated.
Oh, yeah. I felt a little dehydrated too.
Yeah, like it just feels like a die-off, kind of, like, you know, when you go on a cleanse or something. Just really achy and oh yeah, so sore.
Yeah, I feel horrible. I was freezing cold last night, so much so that I couldn't get to sleep. Then finally did, and then in the middle of the night woke up just sweating, feverish sweating. And then eventually that stopped, and now I just feel like I've been hit by a truck.
Really? Oh my. Have we worked on the liver, colon, kidneys, or bladder with you before, Janet?
Yes, yeah.
All of them?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
I never have, so that's probably why.
Wow. So
Got more here.
I was feeling really energized last night, and today I'm very sleepy, and I feel a lot of tingling inside.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's all normal, actually. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna look up Jan.
Marlene, can you make sure that you sent me, put me on the email list for the docs? Because, I mean, I do have a very old computer, but I haven't received anything yet.
Oh, you have it?
Just make sure I'm on that, you know, since I'm the newbie. But maybe it's coming.
It's your name is on there.
I just got mine now.
Okay.
That took mine a while too.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry.
So what are we doing this morning? Because I want to go and make copies.
Oh, okay. We're going to be doing the endocrine glands.
So which of these will I need then?
The one that says endocrine dash glands, that's the slides. And then the
Oh,
glands dash clearings. Doc.
Mine don't say any of that. Mine say glands and then hormones.
It's the first one, it looks like glands. It says glands dash clearings. It's a doc, a word doc.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
That's all I'll need for this morning?
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go and do that.
Okay. I did have a loose bowel incident afterwards. Maybe yeah. I'm pretty sure it was the colon regen. But that was it, and that was all. So.
Oh, you guys, I had, on that note, Marlene, I had the most bizarre bowel colon dream I've ever had.
Oh no.
It was in my dream. I'm like, oh boy, must be connected to my thoughts or something.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
No.
My son, who's, so I have a son and a daughter, 16 and 22. My son's 22. He's like, his gas was so bad last night. He's like, oh my God. He had to keep the door open. So I think he was having a little
He was having the
result as well.
dreams.
Oh, no.
And actually, Marlene, I wanted to ask you about that.
Mhm.
Kind of, I mean, I didn't test to see if it was connected or not, but have you had that experience where someone in the family, so since we're working on the family bubble, which I still am fuzzy on, but
Mhm.
I'll talk to you about that another time. Someone in the family or someone in your bloodline is affected when you're doing a clearing?
It certainly can be, yeah. So in his case,
She's worked on him a lot, so
yeah.
she knows.
He is kind of a sensitive, energy wise. Yeah. I get that he is feeling something. Now we were working on him last week. So and he had the gas before too, didn't he?
This is the second time where he's like,
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like he's a vegan and you know,
Mhm.
he did have a cake pop, but it was gluten free. Like
Yeah.
there was sugar in it, but I mean, it was ridiculous. He kept like opening his door. Like, oh my God.
Oh.
But just kind of the interesting thing about, you know, not specific to him, but like interesting thing about when you're working in the family bubble, will they have some kind of a healing crisis? I don't know if you use that phrase, but
It's possible, yeah.
an old
It
phrase as well. And does that mean, I always kind of wonder if a trickle down healing crisis, are they, you know, what are they healing? Or are they just in the crisis?
Yeah, actually, because you're in DNA.
Right. We did a lot of DNA work, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And so yes, in the colon like that, we did the family bubble, and we did the family bubble on digestion, elimination, ability to eliminate regularly, I guess. Yeah, it can certainly have affected Ian.
It's just interesting, right?
It is. It
You
really.
know, so it's like a double benefit for, you know. And can you tell me what we're working on today? Because I would like to go and print it out too. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's the first attachment that says, excuse me, glands dash clearings.
58 pages? Oh,
It's,
no, that's endocrine.
endocrine.
There's
Yeah,
one that's not it.
it is.
58
I
pages.
don't, Marlene, I think I only got the glands clearing, but it's a Word doc. I don't have the slides on mine.
Oh, because it's endocrine glands, it's the Dropbox link. It's too big to attach.
Oh, okay, it's in the email. So,
Yeah.
So it's endocrine system, yeah? Is that
Yeah.
the one? Okay, it's 58. I just want to make sure I have enough.
It
Do you
could
mind
be
if I run
58 pages, yeah.
I just want to make sure it's I have enough paper in my printer. I'm sorry, I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
there we go.
Boy, oh boy, I forgot to hit the send button. Oh my God.
You're human.
I've done that before with my web guy. Forget to hit the send button. He's like, I
Where's
didn't
this?
get any work. Okay.
I also wanted to add that every time that we heal, we give people in our family up to 1/32 of our DNA permission to heal. So that goes forwards and backwards 5 generations.
Can you say that again? I didn't catch the first part.
Yes, every time that we heal, we give everyone permission in our DNA to heal as well, up to 1/32, which means 5 generations forwards and backwards, including people that have passed, including beings that are unborn.
That's cool.
Yes. So in the beginning of my change work, my mom would get a lot of the changes and she would laugh because she wouldn't be paying any money and she would be benefiting from it. So we would ask.
And she's like, yay, finally. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I definitely notice breakthroughs with my kids whenever I do the work.
Okay, that's interesting.
I always have a big fight with my husband at the end of a training, like always. Like a humongous, beautiful, we've been married 5 million years, right? Like 28 years or 30 years or something like that. Like it's really a good one. He's like, oh, one more day. Our big fight's coming.
Oh, good.
So, an emotional cleansing. We're just weirdos.
Cool. Probably integrating it, right? I said, holy shoot, you're probably integrating it.
Yeah, and I'm forcing him to because this is not, he's like a good Irish Catholic boy, so.
Oh. Okay, so we covered a lot yesterday. And so I'm just wondering if everybody's comfortable with how to do it and you know, the process, the procedure. Is it clear as mud or or do you have questions?
I do have a question.
Mhm.
So we did the DNA part, which always has that kind of find the master stem cell and then mirroring out. But then when we did the regeneration, it seemed like we did a lot of the same things. So in my mind, I'm not sure where they're different. And would you ever do one without the other?
You mean the DNA?
Yeah, the DNA and then the regeneration parts.
Yeah, you can certainly do the DNA without regenerating. Yes.
Okay.
Because you could be looking at issues, like we were talking about, is there a criminal gene or something like that? Well, what's there to regenerate,
Oh, okay. Okay.
right?
So regeneration might be more typically physical stuff.
Yeah.
But someone's having a very specific symptom.
Yeah, and that's only if the body requires it, if you get a yes to regeneration. Otherwise, you just pump the gold in there and then ask it, do we require regeneration? No, then you don't have to.
Okay.
But if the gland or whatever it is low in function to begin with, I mean, if you're 30, 40, whatever percent, you're probably going to want to anyway, but maybe the body isn't ready for it yet if you get a no.
Okay.
And there are things we don't want to regenerate.
Yeah.
Right.
Excuse me?
And there are things we don't want to regenerate. The body won't want to regenerate, right?
Well, maybe not right at the moment, but check again. You can check again. I mean, if it's low on function, I mean, if you're already 80% plus whatever, maybe it's just fine, but maybe it just doesn't want to right now. Maybe it just needs to integrate a few things or whatever. So, but generally you probably will get, yeah, fine. I never really got one that said no. I did check to see how many days, and then I got, okay, do it in 5 days, that kind of thing. But not.
I had a client call me actually yesterday at lunch, and so one of the questions that, and maybe we'll get to it, it's about cancer. Is that later in the? Are we going to talk specifically about cancer at all, or?
We're going to talk about cancer. What did you say, Dia?
I was wondering if we were specifically going to talk about cancer. I don't remember.
Well, we're going to remove the cancer gene today. I had that in here for diabetes, or not the cancer, the diabetes gene. So
Amy's happy.
Yes, very happy.
I
So
guess
I'll remove the cancer gene as well.
Okay, great. Because one of my experience with personally with cancer, but also professionally, is there's people get sometimes super anxious around doing cellular work when your cancer is active, and how can the energy work discriminate between the healthy cells, and of course it depends on where if they're doing chemo, where they're it's pretty complicated, right? But how the healthy cells get the energy work, the unhealthy cells, don't. And so I find people get very nervous.
Yeah, about proliferating the negative, the unhealthy cells.
Yeah, and people get very anxious about that.
Mhm.
And I've had some clients who are like, no, I really don't want you to go into doing that, which is fine.
Mhm.
And respect that. It's whatever you're comfortable with and ready to do and don't want to do. But I never can get, it's always a complicated issue, I think, when we're talking about regeneration and working in the cells. But I guess we'll get to it.
Yeah. The work that I did most recently for somebody with cancer was, I didn't do the regeneration work until after the chemo. They had their chemo radiation treatment, and then that's after that was complete, that's when I went in and started doing the regeneration. But mostly it during the time that they were having the treatments, it was more relieving nausea and pain and all that. So it was just really, it was sending in beautiful healing energy, right? So just intending that you're sending in beautiful, and that's not going to regenerate cancer cells doing that. No, it's healing. It's the body accepts it as a good thing, and it's not going to send the cells off into you know, tizzy or anything. But I found after, and then each time she did the chemotherapy, then I was able to assist when she had it removed that same day. So I assisted removing it so that she, you know, was got out of there. And then right after that, that's when we started in doing all the different organs and rebuilding her. So, but if they're not getting treatment, I mean, are they getting treatment or no?
Not right now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's also, so this person's in Europe and she can't even get treatment because of COVID-19.
Oh, sure.
So, her scan looked okay. I mean, this is appendix cancer, which is incredibly rare. Like 80 people in the world have had it.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they removed her spleen. They did this was a few months ago, and she's my age, she's 58. They removed her spleen, total hysterectomy, took out obviously her appendix. There was some cancer in her colon. That's it, and that's a lot, of course. It's like a 10.5-hour surgery.
Oh.
And, I mean, my thought was to do like timeline stuff, and I've done genetic stuff, and she did have a good scan 2 weeks ago. It was great. I mean, great for the situation, not like woo, but it was no growth. But they have to check every 4 months, right? So, but she couldn't even get chemo. She's in outside of London. You can't even get it now unless you're early stage. She's stage 4. So I was just kind of thinking, would I do, I was thinking with her, would she want to do cellular DNA, and regeneration of her body wanted it, and she got super anxious, understandably. So
yeah, I wouldn't even mention the regeneration probably at this point, but yeah, she would definitely, the body is not going to take it and turn it into something bad. I haven't seen that happen. Yeah, there's side effects and symptoms and so forth, but it doesn't take an illness and make it worse. I've never seen that. The body's intelligent. It knows when it receives some beautiful healing energy, it knows what to do with it.
And then her rebuttal with that, because I've said that, and this doesn't have to be any more of a conversation, but her kind of reaction to that is, yeah, you say that, but look where I'm at. My body betrayed me. So then there's like, with.
She's got some black magic.
She's German, from Germany.
Oh, uh-huh.
I can clear that. I mean, I think she'd be okay with me. I know she'd be fine with me clearing whatever, but when it got to the physical, it was just really, she just was like, I mean, it's a hard, sensitive, crazy time, right? So I understand, but okay.
So I wonder if she would be okay with you, like with cancers, a lot of times there's like some underlying emotional or non-physical thing. Maybe if you try to figure out what the root cause is,
right,
and go after clearing that.
So she would let me do it if I was offline with her, but she's very classically Germanic, like it's not an emotional thing, and she's a scientist. It's a physical thing. It's very one way. I have like all these German doctors and scientists who are women as clients. It's really funny. And they're just so different from me. But so she's but I know if I say, can I do like offline some healing stuff around your emotions, then she would give me permission for that. So I could do that. And maybe if I could come down to, hey, what do you think about this idea in the end?
I think
I'm very, very left-brained, and that is my work that I do during the day. So a way to talk to someone like that is good to go with the logical facts. And this may be a bit of a stretch, but I know that there have been books done on like these miraculous spontaneous healing. So I wonder if she would take that as like, here's a clinical study that said that you actually can heal cancer and a lot of other things almost with a miraculous through something. I wonder if that would be enough to change her mindset to be accepting to this is even a possibility, because otherwise you're just, science tells me this.
Right. I mean, she's way more open now because I knew her before her cancer. She's way more open now than it has really been the, you know, the secondary gift of cancer is she's softened and she's like more open and she's, you know, she's in a kind of emotionally open more space than she ever has been. That's a good idea though, Lainey. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, for if you're in your box and you're only going to deal with logical stuff, you have to give them something to break out of that paradigm. And if it's, again, if you can kind of say, well, these are like clinical studies where we've seen this, even though we don't have the, you know, 1 million people or hundreds of thousands of people in a study, just to open up that, you know, this is a possibility, then that opens up her mind to accept and kind of relax into it. But,
it's a great idea. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
I just got a download that you might be being called to help this culture, like maybe behind the scenes doing some timeline work.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, like that it's a big call.
I've been thinking a lot about Anne Frank lately as we're all in quarantine.
Oh, yeah, that you're specifically being called to do some softening in the German culture and like way, 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 way back. It's there's so much, you know, deeply entrenched fear and like you said. So I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
That just came through.
She also has attachments that could be speaking for her. A lot of times that would be, they don't want to move out. They're having a good time there and
a good time. Woo!
Yeah, they like it the way it is.
Yeah, and perception. And you know that, yeah, so group mind. Also, the atheist thought forms and medical control energy. For sure, yeah, because that's all she believes.
Yeah. Although she is doing meditation, and she's back to going to Quaker meeting virtually. She's to Quakerism, so she at least she has a meditation group in her house once a week. So that's a pretty big deal. Well, no, it's not. Yeah, no, because I've been pushing her to meditate, and yeah, so it's once a week. She has kind of this little 2 or 3 people come, and you know, which is great. But the medical control is interesting because she had to like fight with National Health Service to get her treatment. Like fight for months to get what she wanted, and she believes it's the only reason she's still alive. Because they want to do one certain surgery, not the big one, and one type of chemo, not 2 types of chemo, and so it's kind of a different medical control, right? So like she's participating in it. It's not, when I think medical control, it's not being done to her. She pursued it and advocated for herself and is, you know, I mean, I don't want to take up any more of the time, you know, but the medical control is kind of interesting, right? Because sometimes you create it too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's not like they, you know, you have to give them your power to be able to, for them to control you, right? So, and most people do when they go in, they're like, well, I don't know anything about this. They're the expert. What do I know?
But I'm kind of saying the opposite. The people I know that I work with are researching and advocating for themselves and pushing their doctor to do more or do something different that they've researched. Like, because I do some work at NIH, which is the National Institute of Health.
Yeah.
And so they're actually feeling more in control because they're researching and pushing their doctors. So it's not like that traditional, oh, doctor, tell me what to do. It's like, this is what I think, and this is what I've researched, and here's my stack of stuff. But it becomes the same issue.
Yes, and I do that. I used to do that. I don't see the doctor anymore, really, but I remember I did that too. I was like, this is what, you know, I want you to look at. Here's my issue, and no, I'm not taking that stuff. Yes, I'm not a doctor's best visit.
But anyway, Thank you all. I will clear her during lunch on these things.
I think there's a really interesting call right now to scientific people or professional people. I think Spirit is calling on these people because they have the scientific background, like they have the credibility and the, you know, the race mentality's mind. And so if Spirit can switch their mindset, then people will accelerate faster because people will be looking to them for that. So I think I feel like something like that's happening to people who are more science-based, are being shown some of these healing modalities.
Mhm.
So it's just not open-minded people like us. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You know, where it's more natural maybe for us to flow into.
Yeah, that they're being really sort of slapped with these things, be it cancer, or so they're being forced to look for alternatives. And
It's interesting, yeah.
um,
Yeah, my mom was like that when she got cancer.
Mhm.
Cool.
thanks for sharing, and don't apologize because I find it super helpful learning out for all of us.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, in different cultures, we're going to find clients from different cultures like this. So this is good practice, really, to know how to. Now, I find that there are some very, very open-minded people all over the globe. I'm really impressed, actually, and older women as well. So I have clients in their 70s. Not that that's old, but I mean. 70s and 80s actually, and they're very interested, and I'm surprised they've done other things and have different other natural modalities that they tried. So they're searching. A lot of people right now are searching for things that are going to be able to help them, because at age 70 or 80 and they haven't been helped for certain areas, you know, they are out there now looking, what can I do? This has gone on too far, gone on long enough. So yeah, I'm very surprised, and they're out there. So it's, and we have such an awakening going on right now, especially with what's going on in the world. People are questioning a lot, right? They're questioning almost everything right now. Like, you know, first of all, what's going on, and people are feeling that they're not getting all the truth, you know, of what's happening. So this is launching them into more of their own discovery. You know, they're all online if they're not at work right now, and reading emails they hadn't ever read before, and things coming at them that may have been something that they didn't have time to, maybe they were interested in potentially, but just really never had the time to look at. So this, I think, is an awakening period right now where, you know, last night there were millions, or I don't know how many, but potentially they wanted 1 million people to meditate all at the same time. It would have been 7:45 Pacific time last night. And I could feel it. I could actually feel that. It was like everybody at the same time was sending out a love vibration. And it's like, woo, I started tingling and stuff. I could actually feel that whole, you know, field of I guess it was, they wanted 1 million people. So that can be a tipping point. 1 million people can be a tipping point for consciousness. And that was just one incident. So yes, several different people mailed out to their mailing lists, you know, to get everybody out at the same time. And different YouTube channels were doing different things. There was one, he talked pretty much through the whole thing, like, stop it, we're meditating. And so he was doing it, and he had 11,000 people on live on his YouTube channel. And then there was another woman who was having her session, and they brought in people from around the globe, Tonga, you know, like by the Hawaiian Islands, and they were doing a traditional song, and it was really, yeah, a lot of participation from lot of places. So this is going to open up people's awareness that how can they go back to life as usual now, knowing what they know or feeling how they feel, like something is they're at the edge of something, something's happening, and you know, so and they're questioning their occupations too. So something that maybe was really boring to them, and why am I doing this? I you know, yeah, it's to pay the bills and so forth. But now they're finding, well, what do I really need? You know, I mean, I'm sitting here at home. I stocked up on a lot of different, I mean, I was already stocked up because I have a Costco membership. So I had all kinds of stuff in the house already. Thank goodness, you know, but I'm thinking, well, what is it that, you know, what do you really need? You know, food, yeah. But other than that, people are finding that the comfort of their, you know, just having some simple time, maybe with their family, you know, I mean, we have our 18-year-old here, and he's come in, he's been very happy. Not that he wants to go back to school. He really does. He misses some of his friends and so forth, but he's been very, very happy. He comes in occasionally and gives me hugs. And I'm like, well, this doesn't happen during the day when he's at school, you know? So it's like things are different where we're experiencing, I'm getting hugs now in the middle of the day I never got before, you know?
Last night, my husband organized a Zoom meeting at 8 o'clock for our 4 kids and their families.
Oh.
And so it went for 40 minutes. We had 40 minutes to chat.
Oh.
It was, afterwards, I thought, how nice, and that it's never happened before. It's never occurred to us to connect on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
But of course, everybody was home.
Yeah.
And just to have a few minutes to touch in with people, and
Yeah. Yes.
good idea.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. And now I'm like on these group texts, getting, you know, my aunt and uncle, my cousins are on there. I don't even know who's all on that text, you know? And I'm included in their family text, you know, I guess. So, so it's kind of, it's everything's different, but it is a coming together. It's now, it's like we are all in this together. So what are we going to do? You know, I think that, yeah, after a while, if this goes on way long, then people are going to get a little, you know, antsy and want to go and do things, especially people who like to travel like me. I mean, I'm fine being in the house because this is what I do anyway. This is no different. But occasionally, maybe once a quarter, I like to get out and go somewhere, do something, you know. And we have an RV, and it's like, hey, I want to go. Take my RV. But I don't know. I guess it all depends on a few things. And then who's heard of this comet? Has anyone heard of this comet coming through?
No.
No. There's this comet called Atlas, and it's supposed to be coming through, they said, between the end of April and the end of May. And it's going to come pretty close to the Earth, in the Earth's atmosphere, and to the sun. Okay, I know they've said these things before, but apparently it can leave microorganisms of some infectious sort or something that just can blast out at people, you know, on the Earth, right, as it goes by. So there you got that fear, you know. I don't know if you can believe that or not, but then again, what is it that we need to do? Because they were saying that they would, you know, that there's is it a vaccine or I'm not sure what no, it's the COVID actually itself that has nanotechnology, nanotech. Yeah. So it's on our list of things that we can clear, right? So and that's the scare, is that it's going to be given to, people have the nanobot, if you will, that they can be controlled through that somehow. So, and yeah, sure, I suppose that's possible. So that could be something to, just depending on how this thing all rolls out, if we're required to assist people, if this gets any bigger or whatever, and people are really suffering and having a bad time. And I guess what it does is not just being able to be controlled, but if they roll out the 5G, it can activate the nano in the body. So to not be affected by 5G is a big thing. So I guess if we can have some maybe protocol for 5G and avoiding the potential, damage from it, that would be, raising your frequency of vibration, getting that high enough, getting the immune system, improve the immune system, which we're going to be working in the thymus. That's the one area there.
Marlene,
Yeah.
talk a little bit more about the 5G and what that issue is about. Like, people are the dark energies, or people have a dark agenda with the 5G. Is that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be.
I don't understand.
They say that there was a 5G plant or facility of some kind in China and that Wuhan area. There's a 5G system, network, whatever it was, the size of Manhattan, right there in Wuhan, is what I heard. So were these people dying from the disease, or from a flu, or were they infected with something like they're saying, the nanotech, and then turning on the 5G activated that bot, and then they were just killing them off like flies. Now that's one theory, but if that 5G plant is there, then that's pretty scary, because that's a telling thing. Now, like, okay, but then in contrast to that, Japan, with millions and millions of people, has only 6 cases. So basically 0, if you will, compared to, to millions and millions of people there. So they're not using 5G, so yeah, it is an agenda. It's called Agenda 21, and they wanted to get down, or they still do, apparently, they want to get down to just a few million people on the planet. So that is their agenda, is wiping off the, humanity, and they just want slaves, the slave race, that the way it used to be or whatever, left to service them, right? To be able to produce their stuff and whatever, do all the work. That's the agenda. No consciousness as far as human qualities. This is a race, and I'm not real sure of the race, but it's off planet, came here millions of years ago, whatever, and there's these families that they have been in cahoots with, the Rothschilds, the Pichards, the Rockefellers, whoever, throughout history. And the Nazis, which, by the way, moved to, after the war, after World War II, many of them moved to the United States. And that's what happened here when all this stuff started getting bad for our country. And then they are in the Antarctica. So they're doing some really dark things in Antarctica. I astro traveled to Antarctica a couple years ago, and my request was show me love. I want to see love, right? I don't want to see anything, all the dark and evil stuff. I don't want to go there. So I said, show me love. And what I saw was a giant. He was in a room, a really big, huge, giant guy. He didn't have a smile. And if that was love, I don't know what wouldn't be. He looked like he didn't really want to be there. Wasn't real happy. But he was being kept there because they don't want people to know that giants exist. So on the face of the earth, so he's there. He's being kept there. There's been giants on this planet for many places. Like Indiana, I believe, they've got these mounds that they've dug up, and there used to be old newspaper articles that talked about them and stuff. They don't anymore, but they used to publish that type of stuff. But yeah, so there's just some weird things that they don't want us to know, but like we're on Mars already. There's a secret space program. It's been around for a long time, and the money that goes in there is incredible. Like, it's past the trillions. I mean, I don't even know what that is, quadrillions or whatever. But they have people who are, they take gifted people when they find out that they have some, intuitive abilities and so forth, or psychic ability, whatever. And they train them and essentially put them into a 20 and back program where they're in for 20 years. And one guy, Kramer is his name, Kramer, Kramer, Captain something, Kramer, Randy maybe. And he was on Mars for 17 years, doing missions and stuff, and all kinds of other places, ships that we have created and built. So all this is out there, and it's going to be disclosed at a certain point, maybe now sooner than later. Disclosure, they call it disclosure, and it is coming. They just don't want people to, be scared or whatever. But, I think it's because the lie has been going on so long. How do you bring it out now that, oh, we've been lying to you? But really, here's what it is. But yeah, there's a lot of dark agendas, and that's what all this entity attachments that we clear, right? So, the reptoids, the reticulans, these are races, and it says on our charts too, their weaknesses, like reptoids not suited for this planet is their weakness. Their race may be dying off. Well, maybe, and grays, well, they've got those up in Nevada by test site area 51. A lot of them. As a matter of fact, they're all over Vegas. And some of them, they're in the casinos. They're all over. But their weakness is, well, it says size and lacking in love, morality, and kindness. And the satyrs, their weakness, lacking in a plan, in structure.
So is the theory that the bandwidth of the 5G is sort of amplifying some of those?
Mm. Yeah, yes. Well, it's a nano. Yeah, nano intelligence. It comes in from an alien type 4. It says here, a machine energy. Okay, and it says it's set to take over bodily functions, and eventually wants to take over humans, through humans losing full control of their body. So turning people into machines. So that's the agenda behind the artificial intelligence, AI, and this push, this huge push for everything electronic. And oh, isn't this cute? Look at those cute little robots. Oh, aren't they little cuties? You know, and they have, you know, light music in the background, just like this is something that we should all want now, right? So it's a consumerism thing that they're trying to push. And then get those doorbells in everybody's home. Get those Ring doorbells. We want those all on everyone's houses. We want, it's the monitoring device, right? So they're pushing the fear. Oh, you all need security. You all need security. Well, I don't need that. I mean, my neighborhood is great. And plus that, plus I clear my property and I set it for a very high vibration. So that's something you can do too. Set your property on a high vibration where it just doesn't resonate with the low vibe stuff. So they won't be on your property.
Marlene, can you give an example of how you do that? I'm always curious about how to do that with land. Can you explain that for a second?
Yeah. Well, you can do the same thing on the property as you do in the home, where you put the 4 big magnetic roses in the corners of the property, and then the one in the center, and then the one in the center is magnified, you know, also. So it's taking in all the energy from all 4 corners, just kind of spiraling it into the middle one, and just intend that you're sucking up all the, you know, negative energies. And yeah, so this can just spiral up, you know, and send it to, you know, send on the dark energies. Also, you can check for portals on the property, and you can ask for assistance, divine assistance, to move the portal. We did that with a client this week. She had a portal on her property and she had 15 curses on the property. Apparently her father had run over in his truck back in the 40s, or I don't know what it was, accidentally, you know, but the people cursed him and his home, his family, his property, whatever, right? But there were curses on the property. So that could be something you would check for curses. And then was there, you know, war or battles fought on that property? There's somebody who lives in the Civil War area, and there's a brick wall in her backyard, which was actually part of, you know, the Civil War. It was, you know, back from that era. So she had some pretty weird stuff going on, and she herself had embedding. She had mechanisms in her head. Just, yeah, some weird stuff. So there's things that may be more difficult to clear, but stay on it. And that's where we need to find, is there something more here? Is there something more to clear? Like Lainey or Renee was saying that there was something, maybe alien starts with an O or whatever. So maybe is there anything else? Is there something else that I'm just not identifying? Yes. Can I know what it is, or can I clear it without knowing what it is? Yes. Okay, well then let's clear that, you know, so just intend to clear that. But yeah, so the property, then you'd have the magnetic roses, and then you will set the frequency, raise the frequency. Okay, so yeah, so you can send off all darkness, all dark energy. Clear it like you would be clearing like entity attachments. You could check to see what is the percentage of dark energy on the property. So 5%, 10%, whatever it happens to be. And then intend that you're clearing that darkness down to 0. Once it gets down to 0, ask, is there anything else I need to clear? Anything else going on here? You know, maybe there's some ley lines, you know, with water going underneath the property. You know, that can be difficult if you're going to continue to live there. But, you know, there again, maybe just say, can I clear the non-beneficial energies from this? And if you can get a yes on that, just, you know, then clear that down to 0. So, and then from there, then go ahead and intend that you're raising the frequency of vibration. And since your frequency is higher now, you're able to do that too. So anyone typically over 700 is what we're looking at here for healing abilities and doing what we're doing. We want to be over 700. So that should do it. And then just kind of check and see, and then come back again maybe and ask if everything's been cleared. Is there something else I need to know? But that's what we know for right now. Yeah, and if there's outbuildings, maybe check around the outbuildings for ghosts or spirits, you know, living there on the property. So that, yeah, ask again, are there any ghosts or spirits on the property? How many? You could ask also if it's what color they are. Is it black, and are they gray or black? That would be, you know, the evil ones. Versus, no, you've got a pink one or a green one. You know, those could be just children maybe, or, you know, that were here from maybe Indian times. I mean, we're like Lainey and I, we're in the Southwest here. There's, you know, been Indian, I'm in Apache territory here. Apache Junction is the town right there. It's called Apache Junction. And so there were, you know, Indians living on my property, right? I mean, I'm the first person that lived on this land here, this neighborhood. These homes that were here, there was no homes on it before us. And so there, you know, there's some energies here that we have to respect that came before us. And so I think the gratitude piece is big too. Go out and just, you know, be grateful and state your gratitude for the gift of the support of the planet that you're receiving, that we get to live on this beautiful piece of land. You know, a lot of people, they don't even question it. This is, you know, what a gift it is to have this support from Mother Earth, you know. So it would be, you know, doing that gratitude thing and maybe a little song and dance or whatever you can, you know, offer, you know. And I think, Lainey, doesn't the Indians have some type of like peace offering or some type of, you know, ceremonies and that kind of stuff that they do? They realize the gift of the land. And
that's kind of built into a lot of the different cultures, the American Indian cultures.
Yeah, it's built in. Yes, they're taught that when they're young. Yep. Yeah, we're not taught respect for the planet, I don't think, as much, huh? You know? Yeah, so yeah, showing the land respect and that you'd like to clean it up, you know, assist her to have a nicer you know, field of energy there. And then just ask for assistance, ask for some guidance and assistants to be with you, and yeah, so that's property itself. It's the home. The home is very similar. The home, you know, with the roses and the four corners, and then the magnetic, the one in the middle, drawing all the other energy to it. And then just depending now though, because if you have a property, if your home is a condo and you have somebody else above you, you don't want to be sending bad energies up or anything like that. So just be careful of where, you know, where you're actually, the energy is going. And then in a home, you may want to imagine going into each room, opening doors and clearing behind doors, in closets. That's where the stuck energy is, mostly, and also in mattresses. So you want to go into each bedroom and clear the mattress. Yeah, and you can ask the homeowner if they want to assist, if they want to open windows, let some fresh air come through. That'd be something they could do. They could also open drawers, open cabinets, like in the kitchen, bathroom, just to have it all open and aired out. Then you can put little cotton balls and you know, essential oils on cotton balls and around in the space, and that has a higher frequency.
What oils would you use?
You can intuitively pick. I used to go with a woman and do house clearings in person, and she would bring her whole tray or box or whatever it was of oils, and then she would just intuitively pick them as she was there. But orange is very good for in the home. Orange space clearing.
It's also safe for animals usually. Lavender cannot be. For some dogs, they can get sick.
Oh.
Really
Oh,
safe.
all right. Yep, that
They
makes
need to
sense.
double check what animals they have.
That's a
Some
great
really
idea.
sensitive.
Yeah.
Especially like lavender, which people use a lot. Not great for them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, and then things like, well, is there a dead tree in the yard, you know, that they should have cut down? That's real stuck energies. So ask them to, you know, remove the dead trees or bushes or whatever. Yeah, and then the garage, you want to go through the garage. Just, you know, you're just imagining that you're there and you're clearing, you're just, as you're going into each area, and above the doors and behind the doors is usually, and what we used the sage for was just to show us where the energy was stuck. And she always said, sage does not clear anything. Sage is a tool. Sage is a tool, and she showed me. See how the smoke, it should go up and just go up, right? But when you get to a stuck area, it just goes down, or it smudges out. It just goes out. And she said, that's where the stuck areas are. This is where you need to clear, right? So she's, you know, people say, oh, go sage your house, go sage your house. Well, yeah, but that's just showing you where stuff is stuck, right? So, I mean, you could muscle test and find out, you know, but I'm telling you, it's usually behind the doors, right? So, or in closets, and you can just ask how many spirits are here in the home. Are there any ghosts, any spirits here? And yes, okay, how many? Blah, 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 blah. What rooms do they, you know, what rooms are they usually in? Okay, you can find that stuff out and then just concentrate on those areas and then check again to see if they're cleared. Or if there's areas that they don't use, a guest room, maybe the doors are always closed in there or whatever. Keep the doors open for a while, keep the windows open. Yeah. And then you can use like an imaginary broom, like you're sweeping out the bad, the stuck, the dark, sweeping it out of there. And you can just imagine the whole room being swept, or even, a big golden vacuum into each of the areas. Maybe you're vacuuming behind the door, vacuuming out the stuckness. Yeah.
Marlene,
Yeah.
you have them open the drawers and the windows and things before the clearing,
Yeah.
or after the clearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Before. Yeah. Yep. And then they can keep the windows open the rest of the day. Would be very nice, after you're complete. Yeah. And that does work. It works.
Arlene, I actually had a question also regarding kind of the physical clearings with that.
Yep.
So in what I've done before, when clearing energy, we put what we've cleared somewhere, right? But it doesn't seem, and maybe I've missed it, but it doesn't seem like that happens with this protocol, these protocols. Like sometimes, like if you do the Ewan method, or if you do, other things, it'll be like goes to a black hole to not return, or to, and is it true that with this method, it doesn't, you're not concerned about where it goes, you're just wanting it out. You're not focusing on where it ends up, where you assume that it's dismantled once you clear it.
Well, and that's where you can ask for the assistance, because I don't know where it's supposed to go. How would I know? I don't, it's, says, but our divine help does, and it's like, please assist me and send this energy, transmute it, transform and transmute it, send it back to the nothingness from which it became or began. You can say something like that.
I usually say back to native nothingness, or
Back to native nothingness, yeah.
where there's no thing, like
No.
before creation, like it's before.
Yeah, transform and transmute this energy back to the nothingness from where it began, or the no thing. Yeah. Yep. And I have not had a problem with other things happening, like, okay, so the neighbor's saying that they have all my ghosts now. I haven't heard that. Yeah. Yeah. So, and as a matter of fact, I cleared my a client's townhouse in Tucson, and so my intent was to clear her townhouse, but apparently it cleared several townhouses, because her neighbor was saying her place felt so much lighter and nice, and she's exclaiming on something about did they do something for the area, or she was just curious why things felt different. It was funny that she would feel that, but yeah, she was talking to Mary about it. So but my intent wasn't to clear the whole complex, but apparently.
So we should clear the White House, is what we're saying?
Clear the what?
The White House. Since I live like 5 miles, I guess it's on me.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, please do that.
I'll do my best.
I astral traveled to the White House, and
So sorry.
I went to
Unless Obama was there.
It was, yeah, it was. But I went to the basement, and all I saw was like a dollhouse, like an old time dollhouse was down there. And some junk boxes and whatever. It must have been like a storeroom or something. And that's all I remember, as just going through that window or something and down into the basement. And I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm done here. And I left, so I didn't. That's all I saw with an old dollhouse. but that's something you can do too. Is how anybody here astral travel? Lainey? Yeah? Where did you go?
I just used to go check on things. I started it as a child, not really knowing what I was doing,
Mhm.
but I could go check on my family, check on people, and so I never really did it with any real intent.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so observing is really, yeah, you're just there to observe and see what's going on. So that's very good. So when you went to go see your parents, where were you? You were not in the same home with them then?
So I was in boarding school for a lot because my parents traveled a lot. So it was just kind of that. I think for me, it was that security of knowing that everything was okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
So
some people throw cords and cord into their parents or vice versa too.
yeah, and I probably did that too. Not
Okay. Yeah, you did. Interesting. Yeah. So you didn't realize what you were doing, but you
Yeah.
had the thought to do it and you did it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that helped too with Reiki because then when they talked about the remote healing, it's like, oh, okay, no big deal. I can be there wherever there is without all the space in between getting in the way.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So that's definitely what we're doing here too, because we can, like when we're clearing a house, for example, I can see it. I can see the place. I mean, so it's like I'm there doing the clearing, really, but I'm not, Yeah,
But you are.
yeah, but I am. Yeah, exactly. I know. I know. Yep. So, yeah. Yeah, very good. Yeah. I know we kind of got a little bit, but I think this was interesting and probably informative for you guys to be able to, because you probably will have clients that have issues in their home or on their property, and being comfortable to say, yeah, I'll help you with that, and being able to clear. I got $1,000 the last one I did for, they had a ghost, right? So, and the dog, the dog was, oh, I know, here's what this could happen to. There was a dog that had been buried in the backyard from a previous owner, apparently, of the property. And that's the dog that was coming in through the doggy door at night, because they said my dog was asleep with me in my bed, right? So why am I hearing the doggy door open, coming, right? And so that's was one thing, was the dog, but then there was a ghost as well. So we let the dog, send the dog on with love and so forth. And then the ghost, there was one that was coming in the home, and then there was I had to check around the outside of the garage and area behind the garbage cans, found another one, right? So essentially did that, and then went through the home in my mind and so forth, and yeah, and checked back with them a couple different times. That was part of the deal, like 30 days. He could tell me if something was off. Then I did check back again. He did say, can you just check? Just thought I heard a couple things, but not whatever. And that's when I found the one by the garbage can outside. That I guess I hadn't checked behind behind the garage or something. So just kind of FYI. But for that, he paid me $1,000. And for him, absolutely, that was worth it to, get some sleep at night, so there's so many different ways that you can use the clearings that we're doing, that it's just up to your own imagination of what that can be, and also your skills and abilities right now that you have, and how that can be transferred or adding on embellishing what you do already. And just coming up with how can I affect change now in the situation that we are in on this planet. What's going to be required? What are people going to really want? That's the thing, what do people want right now? So putting together, a package that would include the things that, the anxiety, so maybe adrenals and fear, and so maybe the sleep thing, and probably what I went over yesterday with the vitality piece, that, so the pineal gland, so they can sleep. We're going to do the pineal today. And pineal's tomorrow, glands of the brain. But today is going to be adrenals. So kind of keep things in as we go through them, and just say, how can this be applied to what I do now, or how can I use this and make this as a package and offer it to people who are really needing help right now. So, and maybe that means that we change what we're doing. Maybe we have been doing something that, this is great, but how many people am I actually helping? And is this really what we need right now? Do I have to shift? Do I have to change? A lot of people are looking for new ways of being. So, and changing and shifting. So it's the perfect time right now to be doing this. And so many people speak about, the new paradigm. They speak about what's the new earth or ascension. A lot of talk about it, and that's great. A lot of interviews, a lot of people who know about the subject matter, but they don't have the skills that we do to affect some kind of change, right? So they can talk about it, which is all fine, but to actually use your abilities now and clear something or to make something different, this is the missing piece that a lot of people don't have. Now, that's the same as with like psychics. Okay, so a psychic can pick up on what's going on, and they can give you information, and that's great. People want the information, but what do you do with the information from there? Well, we can actually, potentially most of us can actually get the intuitive hits and then do something about it, right? So we can go much further than a psychic, or even somebody that does the other types of energy work, Reiki, and that they can move energy around in the body, but they don't have the skills or the ability to do the regeneration, and they're just not taught any of that, and so they're limited into what they can do. So we can do that too, and we can do blah 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 blah, right? So we're more of a now multi-purpose, multi-skilled people. So this is why people like me were hung and thrown off cliffs in nearly every one of their lives before, because we had the abilities that people didn't want them out there. They didn't want this common. Yeah.
Can we do a group clearing on that before we complete in the 4 days on the persecution piece, like just clearing any old, I don't know if it's in the DNA, like do a group clearing on, just so that we're all primed and prepared to step into doing this work? Because I feel a real strong pull, like I intellectually want to do the work, but I definitely feel that as a group there's this thing going on around. And I think people who are called into this work, it's probably a past life or timeline thing where we've done it before. And so if we could clear that as a group.
Yeah, that would be great to clear our timeline, right?
Yeah.
So, well, we can get the timeline piece right now if you want to get that started. And so check yourself and let's just go back to 6 lives. Okay, so that's the ones that would be affected with or by in this current incarnation. But let's check going back. So what the question would be, any lifetimes that have had an impact on me stepping out and being in my being a healer, being known as a healer, and being in the limelight, attracting ideal clients. I do have something in the business piece. I think that's later today as well. So that would be clearings around stepping into your purpose and stepping into that. But let's look at it from what you're saying, from your perspective, as far as being persecuted. So were there times that you were persecuted that is, impacting this, that you were ridiculed, that you were, killed or, harmed in some way in the last 6 years? So let's just get was there 1 year, 1 past life ago, 2 lives ago?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
Wow. Okay. So put the ages.
Oh,
What age you were.
I think I need to go beyond 6 lifetimes.
So ask then, is it impacting you today? The
Yes.
past the 6 lifetimes. If there is, then give you that information too. Yeah, because that's where I found about being pushed off the cliff. It was further back than that too.
Because I got 80% of my entire lifetimes.
Yep.
So I need to go way back beyond just the 6.
Yes, and you may. If you're getting that, it does impact you in the current.
Oh yeah, I'm still in the closet.
Yeah, that's true. So something's impacted you. Yeah, and I was in the closet for a long time too. I'm getting that most of mine happened age 16 or younger. All past 6 lifetimes, all of them. Which is crazy. So it's not like it happened later in life. It was all when I was young.
Yeah, I have 4 lifetimes. 3 are, 1 is 21, 1 19, 1 14, and the last is 37.
Oh.
So I had younger experiences as well.
Okay.
Almost like you're coming in with this, clarity, and you're ridiculed for it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it could have been just intuition, and you were getting information, or like me, and maybe these younger ages would mean something like age 8 4 lifetimes ago. Well, age 8 this lifetime, my cousin was killed. I got hit by a car when he was riding his bike, and he came, and I saw him in my bathroom mirror. I just, we talked a little bit, and that was that, right? So, but I told somebody about it, my mom probably, and it just didn't go over. It was like, yeah, right. So yeah, so things like that. And from there, I guess maybe I started just kind of like, okay, fine, I can't talk about it. I can't be doing that, you know, this time, right? So let's go ahead and do the timeline. So you can see them as black dots, right? If you're done. I was going 9 lifetimes back. And there would occasionally be things that came out. Yeah. This could be a big job if we had to keep going back and back and back. God. Well, let's just do the 6 or the 9 life, whatever it is right now. See them as the black dots. I would do each one individual at this point, just kind of, okay, 1 lifetime ago, age, whatever. Let's clear off that black dot. And then send some beautiful healing energy, the forward and the backward. Whatever it is. I mean, it all exists at the same time pretty much. So we're just kind of visualizing getting your whole timeline clear. And then messel testing to see if it did clear the impact of the trauma, the impact.
Question.
Yep.
I just hit like the 4th lifetime back and it's a child or it's really young. But the pain like I'm experiencing is so profound. Like it's like, oh, I just hit the one that's causing all the impact now.
Mm.
And yeah, it's like I'm so heartbroken, like I can feel it. So does that mean I'm in it too much? Like should you do the 7th dimension and remove, like become more curious or observational? Or is it good to give yourself permission to actually feel it and release it?
Yeah, you can feel it. And then hug yourself, you know, hug your 16-year-old, you know, or 4-year-old or whatever. And just, you know, give that inner child, yeah, a hug. Yeah. Send love there. yeah, just bathe the situation in love would be great. I mean, as you're sending the gold energy down the timeline, it's essentially what you're doing. But if you can infuse it with a loving, you know, softness and lifting that anxiety, you know, that panic or that fear or that whatever, because potentially here, some of these were probably deaths, right? These could have been deaths. This is the way that we were done in. That it just wasn't acceptable. And knowing who I am now, I if this is still the same person I was, I didn't give in. You know, I was real adamant. I probably didn't take no for an answer there. So yeah, I'm sure were any of us with the Salem witches? Anyone here, do you think? Possible, or in that time?
Yeah, there were so many of them. Goodness gracious. That were persecuted and killed. Joan of Arc,
Yeah.
gosh, endless, right?
Yeah.
Women.
Mhm.
No to that.
Excuse me?
Oh, I get a no to Salem witch.
No? Okay. Yeah, in Europe, though, there was a lot of this. A lot of, was it the Romans? I don't know who. I know I was killed in, I was Michelangelo's assistant, Astorga or something like that. And he, actually the Vatican paid him just a little stipend or whatever you call it to start the project of the Sistine Chapel. And they never paid him. He put in years and he had assistants and he brought in all kinds of, he had me and other people and they never paid him. The Vatican. Yeah, he got just you can read about it too. Actually, after I found out that's who I was, I actually did the research and that's who I found, you know, who I had been. And yeah, they never paid him for the Sistine Chapel, just a small amount. Horrible. But yeah, they killed me. So the Roman Catholics killed me.
I think we can all agree that, you know, differences have always been frightening to the majority, right?
Yeah,
Just make sure that we don't go in fear
yeah,
now, and we've learned the lessons that we had and personal choice to not go in fear and to, you know, fly our own flag as much as
yeah,
we want to.
yeah.
I think it's, you know, we all have a lot of, I think, examples of
Mm-hmm.
this past life kind of experience.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And I think it's more safe now. Well, obviously it's more safe now than it had been in the past, but even more so the last couple years than it had been before that, because now if you go on YouTube, you can find healers, you can find psychics. They're all open, just giving you their reading, predictions, a lot of astrologists, and really, really good people having some great ideas. And it's just more prevalent now. So they're coming out of the closet like never before. And there's a lot to select from. There's a lot to choose from now for those topics.
Or the broom closet, as I call it.
Come out of the broom closet. Yeah.
Help me open the door.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
God.
can keep your broom and sweep the place clean though.
I am my broom, an empowered.
Yeah. Yep. You're
broomstick
motorized. motorized broom.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, so let's, I don't know if anyone need a break right now? No? Margot, yeah? You want to just take a 10? Let's take a 10. Let's come back like maybe a quarter after, and we'll start into the endocrine glands. If you need to continue with the timeline clearing, then do that. But yeah, let's check back here in just maybe about quarter after. Well, there's Lainey's dog. Okay. Looks like maybe we're all back but Dia. Was looking at some clearings here for what Margot had mentioned about persecution, group clearing, that kind of thing. So I know I put one together, but I do have, like I said, the business clearing. So we'll go through that this afternoon. And motions. Another clearing you can do is finding out how many blocks you have to owning your life. And see if there's, and those are usually in perception, blocks to owning your life. So just similarly to what we had owning the body, you know, how many blocks to owning your body, you can also check how many blocks to owning your life. Because that could have some bearing on what has happened in past lives.
Are you saying life or light?
Life, L-I-F-E. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so yeah, so maybe after lunch I can, or over lunch we can, I'll look to see if I have that clearing that I did. I charted it out, I guess, but being safe and so forth and being seen and whatever. Okay. All right, well, let's get into our endocrine system. And there's, here, I'll share the, well, it's on the screen so you can see this. So this is the clearing for the endocrine system in itself. So the clearing here would be the right permission and ability to have a healthy, fully functioning endocrine system, glands, well, endocrine system is not organs, glands and hormones, removing suppression, domination, and control. So here are the areas to clear. So let's go ahead and we'll just do the clearing for Lucifer stops, bloodlines, satanic curses, group mind virus, black magic curses, control energy, cycles, agreements, atheist thought forms, trauma, medical control, DNA. So as it says up here, amplification plays a big part of our endocrine system. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff there from amplification on the clearings here. Curses and so forth, you know, and just as an aside, like ovaries, that's part of the endocrine system, that's a gland, you know, and they call the women's cycle a curse. You know, for example, there's been curses put on women and their cycles, and because of the power. And obviously we just saw in the timeline how many lives we were persecuted over having power. And the power mostly came from women, you know. So we had a lot of curses put on us as women. But also the endocrine system has been cursed in a way. Well, you see curses, you see satanic curses here, and control energy. So the majority of the organs, or the glands, excuse me, endocrine glands that I see are compromised in everybody. And it doesn't even matter if they're age 30 or below, I'm still seeing compromise in the glands. Now, yes, the younger you get, the higher the function of the gland is, but I'm still finding some, you know, younger people with a function of 30, you know, 30% in a gland. It's just like, why, you know, this is so young to be so compromised already. So what is it going to do to them when they're older, you know, like older, right? So if they're 20, 30 now, and that's the situation, what is it going to look like when they're 60, 70, right? So, and conventional medicine doesn't have anything to offer to raise the function of a gland. They just don't. So the only thing that can work is miracles. So like prayer, you can use prayer. Definitely, you know, your connection with God. So prayers from loved ones and so forth. If you're angry with God or disconnected from God, that's going to lower your life force. So that connection there. Now the other thing is mind over matter kind of thing, mind over thoughts. Like if somebody's told, hey, you've got 6 months to live, and somebody says, I don't buy into that, I don't believe it, it's not going to happen. You can, you know, against the odds, come out of it and so forth. Those things happen. And then us, what we're doing, quantum. Those are the ways to have healing, right? So, and to affect the glands. Those are it, right? So there's no pills, there's nothing right now, there's nothing. So what is the general population going to be doing when they find themselves, you know, with adrenal fatigue and burnout, and and even Jody said it herself, she was on the couch for months, you know, a thyroid, you know, very tired, it makes you very tired, and you know, drags you down, you lose your hair, you know, all the different things that affect especially women, you know, the thyroid, majority of thyroid, when I'm reading a man, their thyroid always seems to be a higher percentage, even if they're an older age. So what is it with women and, you know, and our glands? But they seem to always be lower. And the three that I find the lowest of all the glands are the adrenals, the thyroid, and the pancreas. So I have them on the chart that I do readings for people. I have those as the first three listed on the glands, the adrenals. First, those are the ones I see in most people. And that's because nowadays the adrenals are on, they're constantly on. They don't shut off anymore. The cortisol, I mean, and the adrenaline, right? So we're in the fight or flight mode all the time. So that just doesn't shut off anymore in the majority of people. So
I think I've heard too medically, like this as a nurse, is always to treat the adrenals first if it were via supplements, because if we treat the thyroid, sometimes the adrenals first, sometimes the adrenals aren't ready or prepared to handle a fully functioning thyroid. It can be really detrimental. So always treating the adrenals before the thyroid.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, because I do, and that's that's the way I feel that it should have been in that order. So I guess maybe I checked it before and found that that's the order it should go. But yeah, you're right. The adrenals would be number one. I have an adrenals live stream coming up in a couple of weeks, and I seem to do these more often because it's needed, you know. I get a new group of clients come in or whatever through a show, and it's like, okay, I need to do an adrenals class now again, you know? So it's like, here we go again. Come on, you guys, let's get in here. You know, you need it. So yeah, so I do them quite often. But yeah, the fight or flight mode, we are in it. Now everything pretty much is a trigger for the adrenals. So it used to be, it would take, you know, some, a shock or some kind of, you know, something major to, you know, to put you in fight or flight, right? Some danger or something like that. But now it could just be your phone buzzing. It could just be something just small like that, right? And that's all it would take now. So the adrenals are very, very sensitive. So this is the one that we are going to start with, interestingly enough. And then thyroid, that is the second that I see.
Do you always clear this general endocrine system clearing? Like after you do your right permission, right, and ability, do you do a generalized clearing like this always before you start any specific gland?
Not if I'm only going to be working in one or two, no.
Oh, okay.
No, this is for us because we're going to be working in like all of them, right? So I felt that we should do a general clearing. But no, you can do this to have a healthy functioning adrenal gland, right? So that's the clearing you would do for your client if you're just doing adrenals for them. Or if they're doing adrenals and thyroid, then adrenals and thyroid. You know, I just put in what I'm doing for them. I mean, you could do that, you know, but I like to get more specific for that client. But no, we're doing it here because we're going to be doing.
Marlene, what slide is that?
This is a slide called endocrine-glands, and it's just slide number 2.
Okay.
And this is the one that I sent as a Dropbox link because it was too large to attach it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So it's slide 2. Yeah. And then thyroid, you know, there's no blood tests that really show up. And then the medical community saw a real, they developed hormone replacement. They developed it for something else. It was, I forget what it was that they were going to use it for, but it never really went anywhere. So that the drugs or whatever that they were making for like thyroid. And so then when all of these people came up, women with symptoms, and they were symptoms of like virus, right? Epstein-Barr for, you know, thyroid, and the heavy metals, you know, the hot flashes we talked about yesterday with the liver, hot flashes and different things like that. Well, when enough people, women came in complaining about different things like that, oh, they said, oh, now it's your hormones. You're going through the change of life. It's your hormones. Yes, some things can be hormonal. However, the change can be that trigger to the infection that can, you know, just be that all it takes to set off the infection. And then the infection, it's also in the liver too, right? So the infection, the Epstein-Barr can then start causing symptoms, but they saw it as a great opportunity to pull out that drug that they had in the drawer, wasn't being used, and capitalized on hormone replacement therapy for women, which really messed up a lot of people, right? Because they essentially were or are steroids where they suppress the immune system. So they're suppressing symptoms, you know, so you won't get this some of the symptoms that you had or were getting, the hot flushes or whatever, but it just pushed stuff down and down and down. So it's still there, you know, and yeah, so a lot of women were used as guinea pigs for this commercial opportunity they brought forward. And before that, women weren't really getting a whole lot of symptoms because the heavy metals, you know, they weren't spraying the skies like they are now back then. So it just started coming up more and more and more and more. And when they're like, oh, hormones, hey, it's your fault, right? So blame the person and blame the body. Yeah, something's wrong with you, and your body is going against you now. You know, you've lived your productive years. Now you're just going downhill. You're aging. Get used to it. I had a doctor tell me that. Once. I never went back, right? But I couldn't believe he was an OBGYN, and he's telling women, you're getting older, you're going to have aches and pains, just get used to it. That's what he told me. And then he went about prescribing tests, bunches of tests, and one was like, you know, to go in and get a biopsy, and I'm like, no. I'm not doing anything you tell me. Once you told me that, I'm out of here. Never went back. And that's been my experience with most doctors, is diagnosed for things when really it was a virus. And like they told me I had MS. They said I had MS. This was back early 90s, I believe. And my jaw went numb for 10 days. And yeah, and within that 10 days, I went and had a MRI, you know, saw different specialists. They, of course, sent me to different specialists. And the neurologist they sent me to took a scan of my brain and said I had white spots on my gray matter. And so therefore I have MS. And so he went about to prescribe me interferon and all the, you know, whatever goes along with it. And, you know, scared me, you know, what's going on with my, you know, my body, you know, cried, whatever, all those emotions. 10 days later, my jaw was fine. And they're saying, see, you know, you can have issues like this. It's a nervous system turning on you. You have the myelin sheath thing that's you know, your impulses are going to be sent different places that they're not supposed to be, and causing different things. So you can look forward to having other episodes just like that, or different, you know, losing your vision or whatever. And but I didn't buy into it. I didn't believe him. I was asking, and even back then in the early 90s, I wasn't into what I'm doing now, so I didn't have total insight, but I knew enough that I didn't believe him. I just got to know this is not true. This just isn't true. I didn't know what it was, but then some other people were saying, well, it's a pinched nerve that, you know, because I wore this heavy purse, you know, and I thought, well, I bought into that. I thought, well, that makes sense, you know, and they were outlining on the back of my shoulder where that nerve or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's it. They're like, yeah. So I stopped. I haven't had a purse really since then. A small one, maybe, you know, clutch kind of thing. This is my purse now. It's actually my phone. It's got all my stuff in the, you know, the middle, and then I got my phone, right? So this is my purse. Never had a purse since, and I've never had that episode ever happen again, or anything else, MS wise, you know. So we're getting a lot of misdiagnoses, and the diagnosis that they're giving people, they don't have a cure for, or, you know, anything that's going to really help us with that diagnosis except for their pills and so forth, but that's suppressing things. So eventually stuff is going to stop working in our immune system, right? And so that's where we see, you know, just to give you the benefit of what I see in the majority of my clients, so that you'll know what to expect when you get into the glands yourself. And let's see, the hypothalamus, let's kind of give you an input on that one. That one, well, that's going to be tomorrow. Okay, so the glands of the brain we're doing tomorrow. So the pineal pituitary hypothalamus, we're putting that in with the brain. So today is adrenals, thyroid, pancreas, and then the thymus, which is that immune system, and how that has shrunk now into just a little piece of fatty tissue is all it is. It's full size in adolescence, and then it goes down from there. So we don't have much, it's where the T cells are formed, which is our killer cells. They go after and attack, you know, the infections or cancer cells, right? So that could be a reason for a lot of cancers, is because we just don't have the T cells like we used to, because our thymus shrunk down into just pretty much a little piece of nothing. But the thymus is the one that provides the immune system with instructions and directs the immune system. So maybe without that clear instruction, the immune system is just zapping here, doing that, this and that, but doesn't really have the director. And, you know, like just like a band or orchestra, if they don't have that director, they can still play the song, but they're not maybe all in the same tune or all in the same, you know, coming in when they're supposed to. So, so this is the problem. And then you've got the parathyroid that's inside the thyroid, but it's a separate gland. It's like 4 little balls, and it's inside the thyroid. But this is what is responsible for the calcium, the phosphorus, for bones, bone health, keeping the balance right. So the calcium balance. So that could be off in a lot of people. So maybe that's the osteoporosis that they're prescribing these medications for, instead of looking at the parathyroid and saying, hey, let's improve that. Okay, and then we have the ovaries. And the ovaries produce, you know, the estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And after menopause, the adrenals produce these. I mean, they produce them also as at the same time as ovaries. However, after menopause, that's pretty much where they come from, is the adrenals. So, yeah, and kidney stones with the parathyroid. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? Because of the calcium and stuff. So the ovaries, we're going to go into, I've got some clearings we're going to do around some female stuff. So that's going to be kind of cool to do this. But ovaries, they're also, the energetic function of the ovary is to help women with their healing projects. So they call this area like a healing center right here in front of us. This is our healing center. This is where we heal from. So it's interesting, you know, that conventional medicine wants to remove these organs and glands from women more often than not. So if they're having issues, bleeding or endometriosis, whatever it is, their recommendation is, well, let's hysterectomy, right? And so the amount of hysterectomies and the percentage of those that have gone up is just astronomical. So if women don't have this center, this healing center anymore, you know, well, yes, they're still going to have the energetic version of it, and, you know, it's still there, you know, regardless, but physically they're tossed off balance there. And it's just not the same without having the actual real real organ, or, you know, the gland. So the ovary has an imprint, though. The spiritual ovary exists, and you can still do healings from this area. So regardless, if you don't have one, just does not mean that you're not going to be able to heal. No, absolutely not. You still have that imprint there. But this is where it comes from. So if we ever feel, you know, that's true. That's a miracle center. So yes, we create there, we create life, we create, you know, miracles from here. Everything is created from this beautiful area. And women are using their ovaries for healing others. Interestingly enough. But we don't want to be actually using the ovaries to heal. We want to get that healing power, you know, we want to pull that in and bring that into the individual, right? So we don't want to be using our ovaries to heal.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. How that? What do you mean? People are using their ovaries to heal?
Yeah, they may not be aware of it, right? But when the healing comes through the body,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, so these are the ones that we're going to be working in. Ovaries, however, they always tend to be the highest percentage of function. Usually 60% and above is what I see. Many of them over that. No, it doesn't matter what their age is. Doesn't even matter if they were removed. I still see them as the highest percentage of function in all of their glands, all of them. Yeah, so those are the brain, so we'll go over that tomorrow. But definitely adrenals number 1, thyroid number 2, pancreas number 3. Those are in order, the amount of compromised function in that order. So now the endocrine system is the kind of the sister to the spirit. Okay, so it's in the body, the endocrine system, and it resembles the functions of the spirit in the body. And then each gland is associated with a chakra. So of course you have the thyroid gland associated with the throat chakra, right? The thymus is the heart chakra, and so forth. So each one is, you know, connected to a chakra, interestingly enough. So whatever your thoughts and beliefs are in your consciousness and that sort of thing goes to the energy centers, the chakras, and can put them out of balance. And if that's, you know, put out of balance long enough, you know, say like the throat chakra, eventually then the thyroid becomes compromised. And that's how it works, right? So it's connected to that throat chakra. So you want to keep things balanced to be able to keep your glands healthy.
Arlene, can you just review the 7 glands that relate to each chakra?
Yeah. Ovaries they're actually a second chakra, the sacral. In men, it's their testes are the root, so they're the first, but for women it's second. Let's see. Okay, so we've got the ones in the brain. So we've got the pituitary and the pineal. So we're looking at the the crown chakra and the third eye, and then you've got the thymus with thyroid with the throat
the which is the crown chakra?
Pituitary.
Pituitary.
Yeah, and then third eye, pineal.
Pineal, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have the thyroid, throat chakra, thymus, heart chakra. Pancreas is the solar plexus. and then you have the ovaries, sacral, and then the root chakra is actually adrenals.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, doesn't it? Because the root chakra is the one that seems to be off in almost everybody, or the lowest.
And it impacts everything from,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely it does. The root chakra is so compromised, and it has to do a lot with survival. So this one, it could be being triggered right now in people, the survival, the right to be here. It's also basic needs, money, shelter, food, right? So basic stuff, but also feeling safe in the world and grounded, that grounded feeling. Yeah. And let's look here. Imbalances in the root chakra can be physically, it could be arthritis, it could be knee pain, sciatica, eating disorders, and constipation. Can also be problems in the feet, legs, rectum, tailbone.
Do you
So,
have a handout with all that, Marnie?
is this written down?
Excuse me?
You have a handout with that?
Okay, do you have a chart that I originally gave you with your reading on it? That template that I, it would have had, it has all the chakras I
Yeah,
listed.
I have all the chakras, but it doesn't have the, it has,
I'll send it, yeah, I'll send it, the reading chart is what it is. And it does have that information on it, yeah.
oh, it does? Okay.
Yep. So that would be physical. Emotional then is the survival stuff, the basic survival, money, shelter, food, support. Okay, so it's feeling supported and safe in the world. And you have a self-preservation, you have a right to be here, is the message of this root chakra. Yep, so this is always the lowest in what I find in my readings for people, always the lowest. And obviously if it's, the adrenals are always the lowest, it certainly makes sense, right? Yep, and yeah. So we'll start with that one, and let's check to see where we are with this clearing here. Maybe about 80%. But let's continue as we go through this, and let's get our chakras balanced right now. Speaking of chakras, and get your auras cleared. Check yourself for attachments because we want our life force to 100%. So let's spend a couple minutes doing that right now. Okay, are we all complete?
Sorry, I'm almost there, not quite.
Okay.
Okay, I'm done now. Thanks.
Okay. All right. And you can continue here if need be, but check for attachments. I'll check here too real quick. If there's any, I'll clear them. And then check your life force, see if you're at 100% yet. And if not, just amp it up to get there. Yeah, we're clear on this attachments. I can't talk this morning. Clear on the attachments. Yeah.
I had a lurky demon. I got rid of it.
Did you? Okay, yeah.
Don't know where that came from, but I did.
Yeah, overnight, it's good to check yourself in the mornings because if we went somewhere, we don't know where, maybe came back, yeah, that's the opportune time to latch on to people. Yep, and so clearing yourself at night would be great too, before you go to bed, so that this stuff doesn't lurk around and cause you to go places or do things, you know, and then checking again in the morning is always best. And then after you clearing a client, check yourself too. Yep. Okay, so let's move on then. So you've got the adrenals. So these are the adrenals problems that you can ask questions. So the adrenals are, what value have I placed on working harder than others to receive success, recognition, or influence? So we're looking at like type A personalities here, right? What would it take to actually follow through with what I want to create? So we may have plans or goals, but they're there as a plan or a goal, right? And what would it look like to see and feel myself being successful? So there's blocks to success here. It feels like that there's, you want to do things, you want to be that, you know, do, but just pressing that go button sometimes on actually accomplishing it. What would I do if I knew I could not fail? What will it take for me to eliminate the self-doubt and self-destructive dialogue in my head? What am I trying to control that I need to let go of? What do I envy in others that I am not willing to receive about myself because I believe I cannot have it? It's a lot of self-doubt here, lack of confidence. Yeah. And maybe it does have to go back to that, what we were saying, that right to be here. Maybe they don't feel deep down that they have this right to take up space, to be successful, to be that person. So that self-doubt, right? Self-destructive dialogue. And then trying to control things because they don't feel maybe in control, so they try to control, right? So right, and things to let go of. So the affirmation, I understand what is required for me to work with the universe in creating my life more effortlessly. I know what I need to do and I do it. I am a wise caretaker of my powerful mind. So a lot of perception issues here. I am gaining greater understanding and discipline to the laws that govern the multiverse. There we go. Okay, so the adrenals, I have a whole section here on how the adrenals work. All of this is definitely, you know, something that you're going to want to read, but we're not going to spend the time to go over everything here. But definitely it's a stress, right? All the stresses. And this is what we're saying about the state of disequilibrium. A stress is something that puts your body out of equilibrium, including the psychological stress that you face on a daily basis, right? The nasty boss, traffic, deadlines, financial pressures, and so forth. So it includes also a lot of things not, you know, as being related to stress on the body, like blood sugar, a poor night's sleep, and environmental pollution. So it's the stress gland, if you want to look at it that way, the fight or flight. But when it is working, you do have good energy, you sleep well, have a good sex drive, and you maintain weight. Because it does have a lot to do with if your adrenals are off, it's almost impossible to lose weight or to be in a, you know, ideal weight. So chronic stress, you know, serotonin is depleted when cortisol is chronically elevated. So the serotonin is that feel-good chemical, and so if that goes down, you know, then you know, you're going to be moody and not feeling happy about most things. So the mitochondria, okay, so that's in the cells that we work in. Yeah, so stress eventually makes you feel fatigued because your mitochondria are faltering in the cells of the adrenals. And so these are fatigue symptoms: insomnia, anxiety, fatigue, and brain fog. Here's another list of them. You can look at them yourself, but stressing the adrenals can come from all kinds of places. And these are almost regular, you know, life situations, right? Caffeine, that's why coffee is not good for the adrenals. As it'll show here in another slide too. Overexertion, allergies are a stress to the adrenals. Negative attitudes and beliefs, psychological stress, toxins, of course, and your food and anything you're smoking and drinking your prescription drugs. Yeah, stress in the marriage, death, of course, emotional fear, right? So fear, what's going on now? People's adrenal glands are getting compromised. So even if you want to just put together, you know, something that includes the adrenal glands, you could be very popular and be very busy by just doing the adrenal glands for a client. So there's the HPA axis. The hypothalamus in the brain talks to the pituitary, also in the brain, and the feedback loop then with the adrenals. So that's what it is. And so when it's fried, when that feedback loop between the brain and the adrenals is fried, that's the miscommunication and the resistance about when and how to release stress hormones. And there's hair loss, you know, you could be craving salt, frequent sicknesses, tired after exercising instead of feeling refreshed. Lightheadedness, a lot of people have the dizziness thing going on. So this can definitely be an adrenal symptom. So a lot of people are saying, you know, I'm dizzy, I got a headache, you know, that kind of thing. And do you feel fatigued? Yep. And then let's see here. Look at where we are. Yeah. Exhausted before the day is over. Yeah, for sure. And then the coffee. Okay, so coffee stimulates the adrenals. So this is something to know because a lot of people drink coffee. So your clients are probably going to not like it when you say, you know, cut down on your coffee or eliminate it. But what happens is every time you drink it, you're activating the body's fight or flight response. So you're going into it, even though we're pretty much always in it anyway, it's really going to activate that fight or flight response. Instead of releasing adrenaline so the body can react to a true stressor, the adrenals are releasing adrenaline in response to coffee consumption. So then they will burn out over time. So, and cortisol and body fat. So fatigue and insomnia are related to caffeine and cortisol. So cortisol, that stress hormone, is released after drinking coffee. And then people who are chronically stressed, their adrenals overproduce this cortisol. So it's low instead of high when they wake up in the morning. And then when they drink coffee, it spikes the cortisol. And then they experience huge cortisol surges at meals, which causes them to overeat. And then they wind up having a higher body fat, lower muscle mass, reduced metabolism. So they burn fewer calories.
Marlene?
Yeah.
Is tea okay? I don't really drink coffee, and I have hot tea regularly.
Oh, yeah. And I drink tea all the time. Now, of course, that old, you know, that English or whatever it's called, that's really high in caffeine. There's some black tea that's gives me the jitters. I can't drink it.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be something to lower, go into something with less caffeine. I drink green tea because of the health benefits and stuff like that. But yeah. And herbal teas are excellent.
Yes, that's what I drink.
Yeah. I used to drink peppermint tea like all the time. I must have needed it or something, but I love peppermint tea. But different herbal teas, chamomile before bed, you know, there's a variety of things that that are good. So the cortisol affects your sleep, right? So, and if a client tells you that they wake up 3 in the morning, somewhere in there, that's the adrenals. If they're waking up at, you know, between 2, 3, 4 in the morning, that's usually their adrenals. And, you know, you can tell them that they could have like a little bit of like maybe cheese on a cracker or something before bedtime, a little protein on a, you know, whatever, something like that, or peanut butter can help, you know, if you don't do their adrenals, right? But, and then skin wrinkling and aging, that's the caffeine dehydrating the body, elevating the cortisol levels, leads to dehydration and skin wrinkling. So this could be part of a package if you put together, I forget if it was Renee who said, did you say, Renee, about beauty, skin, was that you?
I do. Yeah, with the youthing and removing stress from the body and the cells and the tissues.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So absolutely, this is going to be a part of your protocol then, is to include the adrenals.
Cool.
And then some natural things that you can do to boost your adrenals. And I got a lot of them listed here, things to eat. And absolutely, the oils are always great for almost everything. But yeah, the different ones you can use here. Say no to requests and time-sucking things, vegetables, adaptogen herbs, water, dehydrated. Get grounded so that you get away from the electromagnetic EMFs, Wi-Fi and all that. Grounding, Earth's grounding. The negative charge cancels out EMFs. So being outside as much as possible. Yeah. And then here's the, let's see, what did we say about this? Your chakras radiate and receive energy constantly if you hold negative thoughts. Yeah. You know that. Okay. Oh, wrong keyboard. What am I and that's the base or the root chakra, what we were talking about, right? So that's the, it's the adrenals. It's being physically there, feeling at home in situations. You're grounded, you're stable, you feel secure. But if you're out of balance there, you can be fearful or nervous, if it's or depressed. But if you're anxious or overactive, then yeah, you're feeling that anxious or panic or anxiety, and you could be obsessing about things. A lot of different.
Do you want a spelling correction on that slide if you're using it?
What word?
It's where it says if you're fearful, it should be if
Oh, you are. Okay. Thank you. Yay. Yeah. And then, yeah, so let's see here. We're ready to move into clearing the adrenals. Okay, so, or the regeneration. So, so again, following the steps of yesterday, you're going to want to connect with the divine and bring in this beautiful connection, and then ground with the earth. So then you're bringing in this beautiful earth energy through the soles of your feet, bringing that up and matching. This is coming down from the divine. And then as the energy is coming up through your body from your feet, then you can imagine it coming out your head and then just pouring over your aura, over your chakras, just kind of cleansing everything, giving a nice earth grounding, cleansing to your energy body. And bringing in that connection so that we're totally connected to the divine. And then going into the master cell of the adrenals, identifying the master cell. And we're also going to connect the master cell to the divine, and then we can also connect the master cell to beautiful earth energy, making sure we're all safe and protected here, this master cell that we're going to be working in as a support system. And then we're going to be sending in the beautiful golden energy. So we're clearing out any dark or low energy vibrations here by sending in, amping up the gold energy and sending it into the gland. We want to do this for whatever it takes here to get up to 100%. So spend a couple minutes doing this because chances are it's going to need it. Out of all of them, we should probably be maybe taking a little bit more extra time in this area because it's going to be the one that's most compromised in most people, unless we've already worked on you before. But if it's been a while, it may have come down a little bit. Possibly. I'm gonna check. I check mine regularly just to see, because of all the different, you know, the traffic and the stress out there, whatever. You know, sometimes it's hard not to get caught up in certain things, right? Things that are real important to you, and something happens to that, right? Let's check what yours is, the before number. Let's get a before reading. And jot that number down so you know what it was. Margot went off to get some coffee. Oh no, she went out to put the kettle on for tea. That's right.
Pouring me coffee all morning, and I get.
Oh.
I'm gonna go get some tea on now.
There you go.
And I'm laughing because I can't believe my adrenals function is high. I think, oh, where I'd be if I didn't drink the coffee.
Yeah, interesting. I used to drink coffee. The family I came from, my dad drank coffee morning till night. He was never panicked. I don't know what, I don't know why it didn't really seem to affect him as much, but me, I drank coffee, and then at a certain point, I decided I'm going to stop drinking coffee. And when I did, I got this horrible headache. It just would not go away. Nothing I did took this headache away. And it lasted a whole week. Just horrible, horrible headache. Just, oh my God, could barely get up and function. It was just really bad. And I thought, okay, so I could either go back to drinking coffee, but if this is what's happening, this is what's causing, this headache, I don't want anything to do with it anymore. So I quit after about a week, it went away, the headache went away, and I haven't drank coffee. Well, I drank coffee, but just little shots of it, just little, if you're at someone's house and they're, here, you want some coffee, I'll take just a little bit here and there, just occasionally. Or at Sprouts, they don't do it anymore because of this COVID thing, but they used to have out the little pump coffee thermos things, and you could take a little sample cup, and I would try out, the ones that they would have up there. But that's the only time I would ever drink it. But if I got too much, I just go into the jitters. So I don't know about anybody else, but that's the side effects that came up with quitting coffee. And I drank a lot at that time. Before
Can I ask a master self question?
Yeah.
So as I go into, adrenals were at 42%. As I go into the master stem cell, and I've tethered it,
Yep.
above and below. I'm sending golden energy to clear out any dark energy or entities or wayward or whatever.
Yep.
So I guess I was a little confused. I thought first, so the master cells within us the cell appears to us. I got that. We clear it out, and then it becomes like this kind of really golden, clear, clean, beautiful master cell, and then we go into mirroring it. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah. Yeah. Right now we're pretty much sending the gold energy into the whole adrenal glands. We probably got a little, too quick here with securing the master cell, but we're actually still sending the golden energy into the whole gland, the whole adrenal glands. There's two. They sit on top of the kidneys, So there's two of them. But yeah, so the process is right now gold energy into the adrenal glands, and then we're going to be sending the energy into the master cell. So, but it doesn't matter. I mean, we could be sending the energy into the master cell at this time too, so it doesn't matter because we have to do that anyway. So we're just kind of getting the whole gland ready for the process by sending in the gold energy.
I see. Thank you.
Now, yeah.
I don't want to miss that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's important. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good distinction
I
there.
absolutely love that tip or that tool you used this time, which I've never used before, of picturing it sort of anchored with this Father Sky and Mother Earth, like taking the gland and putting it in that column. That was a really nice technique.
Yeah. 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 So we're securing it, making it.
Yeah. And it's so isolated that way, so it feels so taken care of. I like that.
Yeah, protected and supported. Mm-hmm. So it could be just like it's just a loving column of light and energy. So all of those failed projects, maybe feeling like a failure, that could be part of the adrenals, that always going, but never really making the successes or feeling not confident or whatever. So this is sending that beautiful healing energy there to cancel that out. Canceling out failure. Yep. Oh, drinking too much coffee puts holes in the aura, Renee said.
Yes, and then it makes it more susceptible for other, parasites or things to come in.
Yes. Yeah, good observation.
You're gonna have me stop my coffee by the end of 4 days.
I know, I'm about to cry right now.
Oh no. Well, you don't want to get wrinkles. Come on.
No, when I'm at work, all I drink is green tea.
Oh, okay.
But at home, I drink.
In the evening too, do you?
Oh, no, me? No, I stop at like 1. No.
Oh,
No, I
okay.
have like 2 cups in the morning, then I don't sleep as well. No, I stop at 1. But it's still,
Yeah,
cups.
yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. But I'm drinking cacao now, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They have like a ceremony, a cacao ceremony. They use that healing ceremony. Yeah. I've recently tried kombucha, and I like it.
Yeah, it can have a lot of sugar if you buy it, kombucha.
Yeah, I bet.
Just have to watch that bit.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you buy it at the store. You don't
Okay. Renee, are you saying something about that?
About,
Kombucha?
no, just the smell of it. It's like, no.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh,
I
God.
tried it. I couldn't get past the smell.
Oh, no. Yeah, the first taste is like, I wasn't sure, and probably the first third of the bottle, I still wasn't sure about it. But then after that, the second bottle, I was like, wow, I kind of like this. But I don't drink anything other than water and tea. I don't. That's all I drink. But now the kombucha, I'm just saying, well, but it's just kind of occasional. I used to drink alcohol and I don't anymore.
There's also something called fire cider, which is like drink when I'm sick. Like it's just like apple cider vinegar and some ginger and some cayenne, just like a little shot. Like I make it in like a teaspoon. It's
Oh.
really fiery, but you have to like the taste.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
a nice thing. No sugar.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Or I take that back too. I also drink the smoothies, 1 in the morning. So that's the only other thing I drink. Or when I do juicing, you can juice carrots and whatever, vegetables. But most beverages, we don't require all that. And drinking in the, while you're eating will hamper your digestion. So try not to, be drinking. I know that they want to sell you, if you're at a restaurant, they want to sell you a soft drink or a beverage or something, right? Because that's where they're making the extra money. And the wait staff will make more tips because that jacks up the bill another $10 for your table, if you get a beverage. So it's like you're almost feeling like you have to get a beverage while you're at a restaurant. But it does not do your digestion any good. Waters it down or whatever, but and especially if it's cold water, your digestion has to work to warm it back up to body temperature. So, okay, so where are we? Okay, so we're probably good here. All right, so now we have the master cell connected, and so we're gonna be sending in some beautiful healing, gold healing energy here to reinstate the functions of the parts of the cell. So now we're sending the gold healing energy into the membrane.
Marlene?
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit stuck. I haven't been able to get past 78%, so my adrenals are really low. I'm not surprised, and
okay, let's help her out.
Moving.
Okay, let's help you out. Let's get up there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and anybody else too. We'll make sure everybody's up to 100.
And is it natural to have like emotions come up with this process?
Sure. Yep. Because they could have been responsible for the compromise of the gland to begin with. Yep. Well, compromised the chakras, right? So the root chakra was compromised, emotions, you know, could be the survival thing, the money, food, shelter. It's also family of origin kind of fits in here too. Because, you know, we used to rely on our family for this support. So maybe if we didn't get support or feel supported, whether we were or not, then that can definitely come up.
Do you want something I'm getting? Do you want, are you
Yeah.
okay with that? I'm getting that somewhere there was a physical blow to your adrenals, like a physical whack across the back.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of trauma in my past.
Yeah. So there's just a huge physical whack across the back.
So what was your before number, Renee? If you
18.
18, okay. Okay, well, this is good then.
Yeah, 76 is good if it was 18.
About 88, 89%. Let me check everybody else's here too. Doing very well. So we'll just get Renee's up to about 10 more points. Almost. Okay, are you getting that you're up there now, Renee?
Yes, I am. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Okay, all right, so we're ready to go. So we're connected, our master cell's connected, we're secure, we're loved, we're getting this beautiful stream of energy right now through into the adrenals. And we are also sending in beautiful gold God healing energy into the membrane. And we are pulling this perfection from the Divine Human Blueprint. So we are bringing in the perfection of what the membrane should be, the perfect membrane, and we are copying that now into the adrenals master cell. And this is where you can check the color of the membrane if you want to see what it was, and the percentage of function of the membrane itself. You can get a before number or just check to see, is it 100% now? And is it a brilliant, nice, brilliant color, healthy looking color now? And then that's when you know you're ready to move on. Okay, and if you are complete with that, you can just move on yourself, looking at the next area, which is the nucleus. Checking color of the nucleus, checking percentage of function, and sending beautiful gold God healing light into it. Also matching the perfection of the human blueprint. Bringing that template of perfection back to the nucleus. And if you're ready to move on, it's the absorption organelle and the elimination organelle.
Marlene, where is that on this picture?
I don't think it's pictured in here.
Okay.
Don't.
Is it part of something else? No.
No, it's in there, but yeah. The only thing I see
What
pictured
does
is
it look
the,
like?
I see the mitochondria, the little orange buggers, but I don't see.
What does the nucleus look like?
Oh, it's that center, that black ring in the center. So it's the middle of the cell, the center of the cell. It's kind of the brain center, the director. Yeah. So you want that to come back up online and be able to direct the master cell properly, to direct the gland itself. And that membrane is what keeps all the, you know, everything out, protects it.
Where's the absorption organelle?
I don't see it on there, or
Right,
the,
yeah.
yeah,
You
but
know
it's in there. It's, you know, it's taking in the nutrients into the cell,
right.
brings in all the food, and then the elimination one gets rid of the waste. So you want these to be definitely healthy, and that's why they are mentioned instead of the lysome, whatever, cytoplasm. You know, they may be important too, but and if you want to go one by one, whatever all the pieces are in here, although at the end here, we send gold healing and energy to all parts of the cell, master cell.
And then if one of the organelles is missing, then you just
Okay.
generate a new one. Is that correct?
Yeah. So there was the, okay, when I have too many windows open, if I move something too quick, it kind of sticks. So yeah, if you have a missing one, restoring a missing absorption organelle is on your chart here too. So you amp the gold energy to the place where it would have existed, and your body knows where that is. It continues to exist in the physical body, even if it's physically missing, it's still there energetically. And then you just, you know, amp the gold energy in there and just test it to see how far along it is. Same with the elimination organelle. And same with the nucleus, I mean, if that's missing too. And you want to see these coming back on with a real light, nice color, light color. Did you find, Renee, that you had one missing?
I did, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the elimination one.
Oh, okay. All right, let's help you out with that.
I think it's good now. You can certainly check.
Okay. Yeah, it's
Elimination
there.
organelle was not missing, but it was funky,
Oh, okay.
which might correspond to my kidney too. But I was like, oh, this is kind of funny. I actually had a weird smell. Sorry, TMI. That I have. Yeah, it had a funny smell too.
Well, that would make sense if it's the elimination organelle. Yeah. Maybe it's not getting all the waste out of the cell, all the cellular waste out.
I know it's before lunch. Sorry.
Oh, okay. And then if you've gotten the absorption organelle and elimination organelle, then you're in the DNA organelle. Now this is not the strand, this is just the organelle. So just observe it.
And what's it about? What's its job?
It does provide information to the cell.
Like what?
Well, just like the code, just like our DNA strand, provides the code of how to operate. This does the same thing. And 97% of our DNA is all good. So it's giving information of, to all parts of the cell there, what to do. As same as as nucleus does that too. It directs, but this is code of how it should operate. And the basic set of,
I also noticed that one of the glands was missing one, the other one wasn't. So do you look at that versus on which side it was as far as like masculine and feminine or giving and receiving, or do you look at that at all?
Yeah, you certainly can. Absolutely. Very good observation with that. Yes. And the right side would be receiving, or excuse me, the right side would be the masculine, the manifesting, left side receiving. Yeah. Feminine.
So do we do the 2 master cells for the adrenals?
You really don't. No. You're just picking out one master cell and it's going to work for both of them. So you could go in, when you're in there and just, you could ask, is there, you could ask to see both at the same time, both sides. And after DNA, it's the mitochondria.
Arlene, is there for the mitochondria, is there also a component from the human blueprint, or is it just at the master cell level?
Mitochondria, is it, explain that again? Is it in the,
So I'm kind of feeling like the mitochondria needs some help, but it seems like they would be needing help across all my other cells. So I was wondering if there was like a divine human blueprint at the mitochondrial level, even though that's kind of a weird part that we humans have. But it's like, how do I fix them and here across the rest of my body?
okay, well, that would be a project then, wouldn't it? If you want to work on mitochondria specifically, then chart out anything that would be blocking 100% function of your mitochondria in all the body's cells,
Okay.
whatever that would happen to be. Yep, and you're going to find a lot of amplification stuff there. So that would be what's blocking a person's energy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that could be part of that vitality package that we were talking about too. So you could do the adrenals, you could do the pineal, and besides their regular energy centers, you can also do that mitochondria. Yeah, clearing. And then mitochondria, so then you can go into the DNA and find faulty programs for malfunctioning mitochondria. Also go into their timeline and find out if there were other lifetimes where their mitochondria were, malfunctioning or had some type of impact on what's going on with them now. Yeah, very nice. I like that, as a matter of fact. Lainey, thanks for bringing that up, because energy is a huge, huge concern of a lot of people, and the mitochondria has been compromised. It's just been bombarded with all this pollution and toxins and so everybody could use this. Everybody could use their mitochondria cleaned or revived.
Mine are screaming, saying yes, yes, yes. They love it, and they're saying yes to that.
Yeah. Okay.
What did you originally say the chart would be for that?
The chart would.
She said a lot of amplifications, maybe some timelines.
Yeah, but what was the statement that you initially said?
Oh, to do a clearing on the mitochondria. So chart out what is, what would be blocking 100% function of the mitochondria in your cells. So, amplification, go into the amplification chart. There's probably a ton of stuff in there. And dark energies too. Yeah, I mean, there could be a little in the perception or emotions, but I would say mostly amplification and dark energy. Stuff that's taking our energy, right? So the attachments, right? Yeah, and that could even be a clearing in itself for, having the ability to be attachment free. And what that would look like. Of course, you've got to have a higher frequency. So you got to get your frequency up to do that.
So as you were saying that, I was seeing like little black holes in my mitochondria with things popping out of them.
Oh.
I'm getting purple blasts.
Purple blasts where?
In my mitochondria, it's just like pulsing out these beautiful purple blasts. Like they're so happy.
Oh, okay. But Lainey, you're seeing black coming out of it?
Yeah, it's not a good black.
Yeah, right. Black is usually not.
It makes sense. If that was happening to the mitochondria, then they'd be asking for help across the entire body.
Yep.
To clear that.
Yeah.
It's cool how focusing just on one master cell provides the lens to do that. Because if we're looking at too big of a picture, we can't see what's happening. very cool.
Very good. Yes, I agree. Uh-huh. So seeing it on a small scale can also mirror what's happening on a large scale. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You can actually see attachments on the mitochondria.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's probably what that black stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I got right off the bat when you said that. I was like, yeah, these little things that are taking our energy. Yeah. They set up household there, right? Like,
Yeah. So I'm basically just trying to clear the anchors.
ah, mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, this could be huge. Huge for our energy, you know, fatigue, right? So the adrenal fatigue.
And there's also, I have a young cousin who has mitochondrial disease,
Oh,
and she, I mean, I'm not very close with her, but kind of knew part of their journey. But she, I think, I mean, she was in a wheelchair. She couldn't walk. She couldn't think. She went to 8 different schools. They thought it was psychological. I mean, you know, it was terrible for them, poor thing. And she's, but when they figured out it was mitochondrial disease, it made a lot of sense,
sure.
because it's, you know, they call them the energy centers, right?
Yeah.
More so than the adrenals, I think. So when I started working on her, it seemed more helpful than going right to the adrenals. She's very sick. But now she's like, she's doing good. She's amazing.
Really? Okay.
She's a really awesome person, but she, it was, yeah, hard. But really the mitochondria, when I worked on that more, helped more than doing any, I mean, before this training, adrenal work I knew how to do.
So you did work on a mitochondria then, yeah?
Yeah, and the shift was more significant when I worked on mitochondria versus adrenals. So the adrenal stuff it was like a little, hey, yeah, a little bit. It wasn't like a big buck fix, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's kind of interesting. Now she's doing really, really well.
Very good. That's, yeah, that distinction right there. Yeah, very important. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me know who's still working on an area.
I'm still playing with my mitochondria, but I'm almost done.
Okay.
It's better than any drug. It's good. I can stay.
Let's pump up that feel good energy centers.
Yeah, it's so soothing.
And there's several mitochondria in each cell. Many of them, like you can see on the picture here, there's, you know, several orange little dots, right? The ovals. There can be thousands in a cell.
So we could do like the mirroring process, just like we do with the master cell, but for each mitochondria, focus on one and then ask that it's mirrored to all.
Yes, yes, within the master cell. That's a great idea. I love that. Yeah, so work on one master mitochondria.
Mm-hmm.
And mirror to all in the master cell.
So I'm stuck at about 87% with my mitochondria.
I just got that. I was just testing everybody. And okay, so let's help Lainey. What do you think we could be looking at? Are there, you know, let's look at the amplification chart. Okay, so is it, what are you getting? You said fear?
No, as soon as you You said that, I saw the curses.
Okay, all right, yeah, because that's what I was getting, like, there's something holding that there, right? So, yeah, so, evil spirit curses. So that could be like the little robot chop thing too, you could do.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could do the regular amping, but if you want to do this for evil spirit curses.
Well, that got the number moving.
Oh, good, okay.
I also got demonic.
Oh,
Okay.
demonic curses too, yep. That can be the regular amping, or you could use that like you're doing with the DNA
Mhm.
shooting dice kind of thing. For demonic curses, anything else? Let's see.
Arlene, I got trauma for her, but I see it says quantum pump or double pump. What's the double pump?
That's just doing it with both hands.
Okay. So I got the trauma.
I'm up to about 97 now.
Okay. Yep, you are, yeah. Good. Yeah, and how about a regular curse besides, you can just see curses, demonic curses, evil spirit curses.
That helped a lot.
One in the family.
I got 100%.
First in the family.
What's in the family, Renee?
Curse.
Oh, a family
On
curse?
the female side.
Oh. Hmm.
I'll work on that.
Interesting.
Renee?
What's that?
What was that?
There's like a genetic curse. I don't know if it's on the list that I also work with curses, and I see one that's on the female side.
Okay.
That goes back a few generations.
So you called it a genetic curse? Okay.
Because I was getting that this is multiple lifetimes. It's not just this me right now.
Sure.
Almost like it's popping in from another set.
Mm. Mm.
That makes some sense to me.
Yeah.
So important to do timeline.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we did not do that with the general clearing. We did here with the endocrine system.
Ah,
We did not do timelines here. Yeah.
So
okay.
Marlene, also just like if we're having resistance to getting to 100%, it's a good idea to check timeline and clear it.
Sure. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good point, Jan. Yep. Should have been on the chart.